Welcome. It's Chuck with Alias Collects, where we interview and talk about vintage, archive, style, and most importantly, relationships in the reseller community. Enjoy.
So what's up, y'all? We're back here with Cody from 416, OG in the game. Super excited to have him on. Let him do a little quick introduction of who he is and how he got into vintage, and how's his life going right now.
What's up, everybody? I'm Cody, together with my wife. We both run 416 Single Stitch. We're from Canada, but we are based in Thailand. And me and my wife have both been into vintage for forever. Like, we've always bought secondhand clothes, always, wore band t shirts. But then I think what really hit for me is I was out here in Thailand, walked into a store, asked about a Whitney Houston t shirt, and the guy told me the equivalent of $400, and I was like, "What? That's crazy!" Like, this was like 2015, and then I asked about a Guns N' Roses shirt, and he told me the equivalent like $600, and I was like, "I could find this stuff for like $50 in Canada," and that's basically how it started. Like, I mean. I've been selling for a long time, but that's when it was like really like, okay, let's start taking this a little bit serious.
That's a great way to get into the game. I mean, like being in Thailand and asking a Thailand person like, "Hey, how much is this?" and they're like 400. I'm like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I was knocked on my
Like, whoa,
ass.
whoa. That's hilarious because like when I started, uh, I actually was I went to the Goodwill bins like just looking for stuff. I found a stack of like the Middle Eastern and Bart Simpson like
Yeah,
pair, right?
yeah.
And I don't know much about vintage, but I did like the shirt, so it was like a stack of like 10. I I literally picked through them, picked the best one that was like the cleanest, put it to the side, and put the rest of them back in the bin. And literally bought one shirt from a bin, and that was it. And then after a while, I was like, I think like 2 years after that, I was like, you know what? I just literally left like almost like a freaking crazy haul right there. But
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
But how's like going between Canada and Thailand as far as like pricing and sourcing?
Um, well, I mean, the cool thing about, I mean, we spend majority of our time in Thailand, and then we'll go back to Canada for 2, 3 months. So it's cool because we can watch the market from both sides, from the east and from the west. So what I do is I watch a lot of the trends that are happening out here in Thailand that haven't maybe hit the States yet. And then I kind of stock up on that stuff out here. So then when it hits the States, okay, well, I have all this stuff. And the same thing with North America. I can watch what's happening out there that hasn't hit here yet. For example, maybe last year, or I mean, a few years ago, Marvel was giant. I mean, everybody is going after Marvel mega shirts, and it was nothing out here. You could find them out here for $30, $40. People just, it just wasn't a thing out here. And then a year later, then it blew up out here, where it's like, they're about a year behind. So, it's definitely fun being able to source out here and then source in Canada, because it's two completely different markets. But I tend to tell this to a lot of people, because everybody thinks that, oh, you're out in Thailand, everything's cheap, t-shirts are cheap, and it's not the case. I would say Japan and Thailand set the prices for the world. Why t-shirts are the prices they are, right? Um, why the heart-shaped box is $2,000, $2,500 plus. Justin Bieber wore it, and out here in Thailand, there's a big like celebrity worshiping scene. So they see Justin Bieber wear a heart shaped box, and now everybody wants that T-shirt. You know, jumps up to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Um, so it's definitely fun to see these waves and patterns in the market of what's like really big out here, and how long it takes to hit in North America, and vice versa as well.
Damn. Like I kind of thought of it like that, like Japan and Thailand kind of like setting the market, and like the
Yeah.
U.S. slightly behind, or more or less the U.S. kind of has its own little thing going on sometimes. Like I don't know how's like the West Coast chopper and like the Harley stuff doing in Thailand.
Dude, it's that stuff is insane out here, but Harley's always been crazy out here. like the whole Western culture, like the subculture, the motorcycle stuff, the rock and roll type stuff, greasers from the 50s, cowboys. There's a lot of that stuff out here. Americana is really revered out here. So Harley t-shirts, I mean, the reason 3D emblem Harley shirts are the price they are is strictly because of Thailand. Like there's collectors out here who have 3, 4, 500 3D emblems, and they just continue to buy more and more. It's an insane market.
They're kind of like, it's not like controlling the market, but they're definitely controlling a certain percentage of it because they have so much of
100%.
it. I
Yeah.
think eventually it's going to be hard to find a lot of shit. It's going to get
Yeah.
more scarce and more scarce as people keep collecting it and holding on to it. Uh, and like I've always been like, man, sometimes like I want to keep some of my T-shirts in the U.S. so I'm able to get them back if I want to get them back for real.
Yeah.
Because, obviously Japan and Thailand and the Asian countries, they pay really, really well.
They do.
Um, and sometimes, and the economy in the U.S. is sometimes you got to make that money back. And the easiest way to do it is to sell to Japan and the Asian countries.
Yeah. Well,
And
and that's the thing too. Like that's the thing. It's like a lot of people say that the end game is Japan. Like a lot of shirts when they go to Japan, it's into collections and it's vaulted and you never see stuff again. Like I've sold quite a bit of stuff to Japan where it's like that'll never be seen again. Like nobody will ever see that shirt again.
see, that
Yeah.
scares that scares me. 'Cause I'm like, fuck, man. And then I've heard people say like, like you said, the people go to Japan and Thailand and think it's cheaper. And I think that's very subjective depending on what you're looking for,
100%.
because obviously the more sought after stuff isn't going to be as cheap because it's more worldwide. It's more sought after
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah.
And but you can probably find a lot of good steals on stuff that like can move, within like a market or something really well. But
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
like high end, I don't think so.
No, well, that's the thing too. It's like because so I'm 45 years old. I grew up in the 90s. I Nirvana was one of my favorite bands. That whole subculture of grunge, hardcore punk. So I grew up with all that stuff. So when I see some obscure punk band out here, I instantly know what it is, right? I don't need to Google it. I don't need to look it up. I already have that knowledge of knowing what it is. Where out here, a lot of guys are still playing catch up, right? They're still like, oh, I don't know what this is. I need to Google it. And a lot of guys are just like, don't care. Like I don't care. Just 200 baht, $6, whatever. It's just a t-shirt to me. When then I go through stuff and I'm like, oh man, you don't know what that is. Like that is crazy. Like let me put that to the side. Right. So that does happen quite often. But like you said, if you're hunting like, 9 Inch Nails, Nirvana, Soundgarden, the what is it, the Harley chrome sleeves, back in the day was Iron Maiden. If you're hunting that kind of stuff, those prices are always going to be high. And I just tell people it's like you have to start digging through the cracks and really finding stuff that's like pretty obscure.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed, that you have a lot of obscure stuff, like stuff people have never seen. And if they do see it, it's on your page. And if I do see it again, I'm pretty sure the person that has it got it from you. So
Yeah.
like, so like, yeah, I mean, like I find some obscure stuff every now and then, and like I'm just like, this just looks cool. Let me look it up. Let me see what it
Yeah.
is. And you learn something every day. I think that's something about vintage, that we all learn something. But as far as somebody that lived it, I mean, you can't get any better information from the source, from somebody that
Yeah.
been around. So I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
that makes it.
yeah, that's the main thing. I try to like listen. I love Nirvana. It's one of my top 5 favorite bands. But we've all seen the T-shirts, right? We've seen them. We've every Nirvana under the sun, unless you find these really obscure ones. We've seen In Utero, Nevermind. We've seen Incesticide, Bleach. So I just try to like really hunt for stuff that's like because I love that where if I pick something up like, oh damn, I've never seen that before. That's crazy. So if I get excited about it, I like it when people also message me like, dude, that is amazing. I love that. It's I kind of like having my page. I mean, I do this full time, so I sell full time, but I also put stuff on my page just to kind of like database it, right? So it's like in my catalog, like, yeah, I did have that T-shirt. Um, I'll never see that one again because that was a test print. I'll never ever see that. But hey, it's on my page, so I can always come back to it and be like, oh man, that was a really cool T-shirt. So, and that's not like saying anything bad about any other seller, right? We all have our categories. We all sell what we sell. But yeah, I just like finding that stuff where it's like I've never seen that before. So if I haven't seen it, there's a good chance a lot of other people haven't seen it, and that's just what really excites me is finding that like super rare kind of gem type stuff out there. Because then it still exists, right? It's still out there. There's still more that we can find where it's like you haven't seen everything. Because then I think if we've seen everything, then it gets a little boring. So it's like
Yeah,
that hunt. There's that hunt still involved.
yeah. So how do you go about like pricing or valuing an obscure shirt? Say like there's no comps, like it may have been printed at somebody's house or something like that, but it's extremely cool, and there's no real market for it. So how would you go about like valuing it?
So I'm really bad for this too because like my wife always makes fun of me because she's like, man, you undersell everything. Like everything you get, you put a lower price. Because I'll talk to guys. Like I have like a good circle of people that guys who are older than me who've been doing it a lot longer than me, and we kind of all just discuss and bounce ideas off of each other. So a lot of these guys I'll hit up. I'm like, hey man, got this T-shirt. If you had this, what would you value this at? And why? And it is a great group because there is none of this old head mentality where it's like, man, go figure it out yourself. It's guys who
Yeah,
couple guys are in their 70s, right? So they have a lot more knowledge than me. So being able to ask them, and if something's super scarce, super obscure, super rare, it's like I just go to a lot of those guys and talk to them, and then kind of get an idea of like, okay, so let's say it's a Nirvana Nevermind, but it's the Jeff Ross print. I mean, there is comps for those out there, but what you try to do is just like figure out what the closest comp is, and obviously if it's something super obscure, double it, right? Um,
mm,
but then I always try to come under market, no matter what. Like even
yeah,
if there is no comps, if I think something is $3,000, I might say 2K, right? So that I still give somebody room that if they buy it for 2K and it's valued at 3 or 3.5, they can still make money off of it as well. So I try to do that as well, where I leave that open for people. But yeah, for the most part, I just hit up other people, do tons of research, try to go right back to the source of maybe where the shirt came from, and just try to get as much information as I can, and then just evaluate everything all together.
makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, if you got the people like around you that you can talk to, that's the best because
Yeah.
I'll bounce around the people and then I'll go off of like whatever that is. I never try to be crazy. If I don't know nothing about the shirt, like I'm not gonna go run up here and try to say like, hey, give me uh, $500 for a shirt I have no clue about. like, uh, like so, try to keep it normal or cordial. Um, but bootlegs and light tees, which one do you prefer, and like why?
So for me, 100% bootlegs. Um, I love bootlegs because who a lot of the guys that made them, the people that made them, they put their own artistic touch into them. So, you know, you see some of the European bootlegs, you see some of like the even the North American bootlegs just on the side of the street that they printed. I mean, now it's a little bit different because basically what they'll do is they'll send somebody to the first concert and take photos of all the shirts, and then they just reproduce those outside of the shows. But back in the day, you look at rap tees, I have a couple insane Nirvana t-shirts that are bootlegs that it's like the graphics are just better. Because also with the licensed stuff, there's thousands upon thousands and thousands, if not millions, of those shirts made, right? I keep on going back to, let's just go back to Nirvana Nevermind. There is thousands of that shirt printed. Now, if you go to a Nirvana Nevermind tour shirt that was bootlegged in Paris, it's going to have a completely different graphic, a different feel to it, a different vibe, and it's just not seen as much. So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm a bootleg guy all the way through. I just love the way the graphics are. I mean, I actually here I that's here's a good example. I think I have it here. Yeah. So I just posted this the other day. So this is a Faith No More.
Yep.
This is 1995 Faith No More, but this was only sold in Madrid, Spain on July, what is it? July 16th, 1995 in Madrid. So you could only get this shirt at that show by some dude on the street. So I love this kind of stuff. Whereas the regular King for a Day album cover, it's this graphic, but it's red, and I've seen it a million times. But when I saw that, I was like,
Yeah.
dude, that's incredible. Like, that's amazing.
I think I always value my bootlegs higher than my licensed tees because they're just so much harder to come by.
100%.
People try to tell me like, but the license is like the better version of this, the better version of that. I'm just like, to be honest, it's not. It's just not. I mean, they're more sought after because it's official licensed merch, but
Yeah.
I don't see why they like viewed as better because the bootlegs, the art is very unique, or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Well, I also think a lot of people like the safety in a licensed T-shirt, right? They like knowing, okay, it's 1995, licensed to Brockham, licensed to Giant, licensed to Nice Man. They like that because even though that can still be faked, there's still a database of those fakes going around. Whereas something like this, there's no database of this, right? This is just that's just
right.
that T-shirt. It's not like you can go online and be like, oh, hey, they're printing those in China right now. Whereas, the Nirvana Nevermind on a Brockham tag or a Giant tag or whatever, you can literally look up companies who are printing those nonstop right now.
That makes sense. But I'm like, I'd be conflicted. I'm like, man, because I don't sell, personally, I don't sell my bootlegs. I sell the license before I sell a bootleg. And people prefer that
Yeah.
because, majority of people, they're resellers who collect for a little bit, wear it a little bit and sell it. So, but I just keep my bootlegs. I don't have no problem keeping them.
I don't blame you, man. I
Um,
don't.
what do you think stems like for a shirt to go up or down in value?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a super good question. That's a hard question to answer because I mean, there's so many different things that can have it go up or down. As simple as like Travis Scott wearing an Eagles Hell Freezes Over T-shirt. That Eagles shirt is trash. It's trash. It's nothing. And I mean, I say that in the nicest way. Like it's nothing crazy, right? I've seen that shirt a million times, and it's not something that's caught my eye. But then all of a sudden, Travis Scott wears it, or A$AP Rocky, or whoever wears it, right? Justin Bieber, Kanye West, and now all of a sudden that shirt is $200, $300, $400. For me, I think that's crazy to put so much like value and worth into a celebrity wearing a T-shirt. But I do get it. I understand it. Now with just a regular T-shirt, um, I don't really know how some of these markets work. Like I really don't because there's times when I'll go out to a lot of the markets here and I'll ask about the most random T-shirt and they'll just give me a price where I'm like, what? Oh, that's crazy. But then I'll go to another market and it's the same price, and then it's the same price, and then I'll talk to my friends and I'll be like, hey, why did this shirt jump in price? And they're just like, I don't know. I, I have no idea. Maybe like one of the songs was in a movie and now the movie's super popular. Or for instance, like out here after Stranger Things aired, Kate Bush, one of her songs was on the Stranger Things show, and Kate Bush t-shirts went up in value. Like, but nobody knows who Kate Bush is here. They're just like, oh, I know she sings Cloud Busting, so
She's
oh, that's why the shirt jumped in value. So, I don't know why the long sleeve Harley shirts with the flames are so pricey. I mean, I honestly don't even have an answer to this question. I just
no idea, man. No idea. It's more so a social media like thing. Like social media made it so it hit so many different profiles and accounts and so many people saw it at one time that
yeah
that demand went there and it made its own market. And now this shit
yeah.
may be around for fuck who knows. Like
But that's the crazy thing too is like you'll have some of these shirts that just skyrocket, right? And you have guys paying $300-400, and then 2 weeks later or a month later, it's like it just drops off, and you have all these guys stuck with these $400
crazy.
t-shirts.
And
It's like
bad.
it's like that shirt's $100 now. That's worth $150 tops now. So I mean that's to me that's also a super important thing where I'm kind of getting a little off track, but I feel like that's super important where it's like, you know what, sell what you love and sell what you know. Because if you just get into these, I mean,
Mm.
hype phases where you are selling this stuff because it's super hyped up, you're always going to be chasing that. You're going to be chasing after it and not really know what you really like. Like, I mean, the stuff that I post on my page, I would say 99.5% of it is stuff that I listen to, stuff that I thoroughly enjoy. There might be the odd time that I'm like, dude, that's just a really nice t-shirt. Like, I really just want to post that shirt because it's a great graphic and I like the graphic, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't listen to Grateful Dead. Like, I do not listen to Grateful Dead at all, but I think they have some really cool graphics. They have some really good looking t-shirts.
It's valid. It's valid. The whole sourcing thing when it comes to like the t-shirts dropping off and going up and down.
Yeah.
So there's one thing that I do when I source. I'll go to really, really old vintage stores or like stores that have been around for years,
Yeah.
and they'll have some of the best product around. Like their wall pieces have been on the walls for 10 years, you
Forever.
know,
Dust
but
on them.
5 years, something like that, and they haven't changed the prices. So like you'll go in there and they'll have a random Nirvana shirt on the wall for like 250,
Yeah.
300, and like they don't really know because they're not really keeping up with the market. They're just selling the stuff that sells for $20 to $50. That's what they're worried
Yeah.
about. And they'll go in there, and I'll go in and I'll find 4 or 5 band shirts for completely like 50 to 60% off because they don't really keep up with the market when it comes to the high end stuff.
Yeah.
But you ask them about Americana, different, like when it
Yeah.
comes to like Levi's and stuff, they'll really know what's going on with that. But like
Yeah. That's
t-shirts, they'll just be like, oh yeah, that's been 3 4 years. So I mean, I don't think people know how to source in that way because sometimes if you like high end stuff, you can get away with that. And even with newer stores who've been around for like 3 years or something like that, they price their stuff and leave it there, and you get you a
yeah.
deal. So,
It's the same thing out here.
so
A lot of guys don't look at the ups and downs of a market. So I'll walk into some stores and the same guy has had the same shirt for the past 5 years, and it's still $800 when it's like, and a lot of them are friends of mine. I was like, hey, you can buy that on eBay for $250 right now, and they're just like, oh well, buy it on eBay then. Like they just don't care, and I think the problem too is like when you're doing these trends, right, you get stuck with some of this product that's super high end, and then you're always like the value is going down, but you're always chasing after that initial buy-in because nobody wants to lose money. So a lot of these guys just hold this stuff thinking, no, it's coming back. It's going to come back. That Three Doors Down t-shirt, that's coming back. That's going to go back up to $120. And it's like, it's not. It's not. We're not going there.
Nah, it's not. It's not happening.
I think it's
Not
over.
happening, man. I actually got, I got caught right in the middle of the Kirk Memorial like upsurge. Like I think it was like 2023 or 2022. I
Mm-hmm.
was at one of the local markets in Dallas, and a guy he offered me. He said I could get the Kirk Memorial for the adult memorial for 500, and then I could get the incesticide for 400. And I was like,
Damn.
oh no, man! Like I'll do 400 for the Kirk for the adult memorial, and maybe like 350 for the incesticide. And he was like, nah, man, like I think this is a good deal. And I passed on it. And then I backdoored, I kid you not, I mean 3 months later. And next no, Kurt, 750, gone. 800, gone. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. And I'm like, it has to be now. And they're like, nah, the last one just sold for 1,000. And I'm like,
And
I told
that's the thing.
my
It's
I'm getting that shirt.
yeah. Dude, it's the same thing out here where it's like if you see something, you know, you have to jump on it. You can't be like, okay, well, let me think about it. I'll come back later because most of the time, and this has happened to me so many times, I'll be at a market, I'll see something, I'm like, hey, what's the price on that? And they'll tell me the price, like, okay, that's a good price. I'd like to get it for a little cheaper. Okay, let me think about it. And I'll do my loop, come back an hour later, gone. Shirt's gone. And you're just like, dude, I should have just grabbed it. Should have just taken it. Right?
Yeah. Oh, man, that happened to me so many times. Now I'm just like, if I got the money for it, fuck it, I'll just buy it because I'm
Yeah,
gonna regret it. So
yeah. Same here.
now I
Don't even
got the
pay.
shirt now, and I paid 150 over what the last guy wanted to sell to me for, which is not bad. It
No,
took
that's still
me,
great. That's still super good. That's still a
I'm like,
great
that's
price.
perfect for me. It was perfect measurements for me and everything. I was like, amazing.
Well, that's the other thing, man. If you find the shirt and it's perfect measurements, and let's say, because I'm kind of like more of a thrashed, worn in kind of guy. Like I love my shirts to be a little bit more beat up. If I find shirts in my size and they're beat up and it's perfect, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, yeah, cool, I'll take it. Because for me to walk around and try to find that shirt again, good luck. It's not going to happen.
For sure not. The thrash condition, no, for sure not. For sure not. Y'all, thank you, Cody, for coming on and been a great guest. I mean, you're amazing. Uh, I can't wait to hopefully meet you one day. If I
Come
come to
out,
Thailand or you come back to
come
the
out here.
U.S. for, yeah, come on down to Austin, Texas. We'll welcome you with open arms, man. Uh, but it was
Appreciate
great
it, man.
talking to you, man.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you and thank you so much for everything.